Do you guys remember wrestling legend Beetlejuice? No? Let me remind you.
Beetlejuice,
Hey,
what's up?
Snap Nut.
What'd you call me?
Snap Nut.
You know who you're talking to?
Yeah, you, Snap Nut.
It's Mr. Flatnut to you.
But we have breaking news that Vince McMahon wants to induct Beetlejuice into the WWE Hall of Fame, but Beetlejuice wants to show his great mind by becoming the new GM of Monday Night Raw. But Vince's daughter Stephanie opposes the move, saying it's not best for business and will compete as the opposing GM. But Beetlejuice has this to say.
If you don't like it, fuck you.
Beetlejuice picks his close friend John Cena.
His name is John Cena!
This is where things start to speed up. The man to SmackDown, the rated R superstar to Monday Night Raw, the beast to SmackDown, the boss to Raw. Who's next? Dexter Lumis to SmackDown, the Viper to Raw. Who's next? The Empress of Tomorrow to SmackDown, the Beast Among Men to Raw, Mandy Rose to SmackDown, Bayley to Raw. Who's next? The Glorious One to SmackDown, Cedric Alexander to Raw. We have Johnny Mundo, Johnny Impact to SmackDown, Rio Ripley to Raw. Titus Worldwide to SmackDown, the Fabulous Tyler Breeze to Raw. Eric to SmackDown. We got Fandango to Raw. Fashion Police coming back. SmackDown gets Roderick Strong, Raquel Gonzalez to Raw. Who's next? Natalya to SmackDown. Who's next? Billy Kay, one half of the Iconics to Raw. Pete Dunne to SmackDown. Who's next? Tony Storm to Raw. Who's next? We have Shotzi to SmackDown and the modern day Maharaja to Raw. You might be wondering why Raw. Let me show you why.
Spell red.
Red? L-S-T-E-R.
And with the final pick in the draft, SmackDown picks Nia the Bone Crushing Jax. Both rosters look stacked, but Beetlejuice got this. As we get into GM mode, Triple H has high hopes for us, but Beetlejuice has this to say.
I'm down, baby.
After Triple H gives us high hopes, Stephanie McMahon slides in our DMs, because everyone got Beetlejuice's DMs, talks about Brock, but we ain't concerned. We got Jinder. Then we're going to slide over to the champions. We got John. We got Sasha.
His name is John Cena!
Going into our first show, we got Sasha versus Gonzalez. Bayley runs in. Doesn't matter. Sasha wins. We get a 2.5-star match. Give Tony some airtime to talk about Beetlejuice. We got the Fashion Police versus Jinder and Braun. Tag title match. We got new tag champs. Was it 3 stars?
What number comes between 2 and 4, Beetlejuice?
25. Wait a minute,
Then we make Cedric a good guy, because who doesn't love Cedric? Still upset the Fashion Police lost.
Turn in our badges.
Next up, we have Billy Kay versus Rio Ripley. One-on-one match. Billy Kay wins. In a 2.5-star match, we get the rivalry. Edge does a charity, throws out Beetlejuice merchandise. Cena, Orton, rivalry renewed. And the champ is here. Cena wins in a 2.5-star match. New rivalry. We have Lesnar Rue versus Pete Dunne and Dexter. Tag titled match. New rivalry. The Glorious Beast. Roderick Strong, talking about that random stuff. Mid-card match, we got Asuka versus Mandy Rose. Empress Tomorrow is defeated in a 2.5-star match. Eric giving Viking stuff. Becky versus Nia, Becky and Nia versus Natalya and Shotzi. Mediocre match, ironic, because Nia broke Becky's face. Titus Worldwide main event, but John Morrison wins in a 3-star match. And we're down, but we're not out yet.
I can come back with...
Here we are, week 2. We get Rhea versus Billy rematch. Can Rhea get the win back? She does. In a 3-star match, and Triple H wants us to give Fandango a promo.
The only way to close this case is to give them all the gift of gold bond.
Since Fandango's busy, we give Cedric Alexander a chance against Braun. Everyone loves the underdog story, and he does. The underdog wins in a 2-star match. Bayley calls out Sasha for a title match. We have Breeze, Jinder, main event worthy match. Jinder wins 2-0 on Monday Night Raw in a 2-star match. Trying to build up Tony. Does not work. Main event, title on the line, table match, Randy, Cena. Randy wins, new champion. Week 2, we have Brock versus Dexter for the Universal title. Brock wins, destroying Dexter, ripping the mustache off his face. Shotzi talks about her tattoos. We have Eric and Pete Dunne versus Roderick and Robert. Robert gets a new partner, but it doesn't matter. He doesn't need Brock to win. We have Asuka talking about her face paint. Then we have a rematch, John versus Titus. Can Titus get the job done? And he does. He does it for Titus worldwide. We have Becky Nyaya versus Natalya. Natalya gets a new partner, and it doesn't matter. They still retain the titles. We're still down, but we're not out. Billie Kay wants a rematch. We give it to her, because that's what Beetlejuice does. He's a people's man. Cena wants a rematch. He got it. Week 3, we have Becky versus Sasha for the title. Who wins? We have Bayley, new champion, calls her out in an amazing match. We get Edge's first look, gives a promo about being rated R. Oh, Fashion Police versus Jinder and Braun, and the Fashion Police win! New champs!
The only way to close this case is to give them all the gift of gold bond.
So fresh, so cool, so irresistibly irresistible.
Once again, Tony on the mic. She has to have a match eventually, but we have Billy versus Rhea, the rematch Billy wanted. She gets the job done. She wins. And we have Gonzalez, haven't seen her since week 1, cuts a promo, rematch, table match, title on the line, and Orton retains. It's a classic match, and we have rematch from last week. Who wins? Ooh, the tag champs still win. Titles were on the line. They retain. Asuka once again talking about her face paint. We have Roderick versus Eric. Eric looking mean, and he wins, destroys the little man. And Shotzi once again talking about her new tattoos. Morrison, Titus, part 3. Titus worldwide. Titus, give him a title shot. Oh, the tag team rematch. Will they win? Oh, and Robert Roode, Brock Lesnar still dominate, but we take the lead.
I got it right wrong, brother.
We have Triple H telling us Cena's getting older. Cena thanking us for his rematch even though he lost. Rio wants to team up with Tony tonight. We have Randy versus Edge in Edge's debut match. Can the champ beat Edge? And he can't. The rated R superstar wins. Jinder giving us a promo why he's the greatest of all time. Rhea and Tony versus Billy. Gonzalez debut match for Tony. And they win the tag titles. First ever women's tag champions. Cena giving out that Beetlejuice merchandise. Braun versus Cedric. Fandango runs in and Braun wins in the rematch. He doesn't care. Destroys them both. Tyler talking about that gold bond. We have Bayley versus Banks rematch in a tables for the title. Banks wins! Now we go to SmackDown. Natalya says I could get the job done myself, and she beats Becky Lynch, doesn't need a partner. Titus Worldwide calls out John Morrison. He's tired of winning. He wants to destroy him. Mandy versus Asuka. Asuka gets back on a roll, beats Mandy. And then we have Nia Jax talking about why she's going to break someone's face. Eric versus Roderick. Rematch from last week. Roderick wins and becomes a Viking because that's how that works. John Morrison giving out muscle magazines. Pete Dunne versus Brock. He says, I want the ISO. And the Beast wins. But we're still up in the standings. But Triple H tells us Randy's out.
Act like a little bitch.
Then we have Rio Ripley saying she called her shot. Her and Tony dominated. New tag champs. Braun wants a main event shot. After last week, you got it, Braun. Before the pay-per-view, we look at our commissioner goal. Triple H doesn't want Gonzalez to fight. We sign Drew Gulak from the free agent list. Go to WrestleMania Backlash. Banks, Bayley, tables match for the title. Bayley becomes a 2-time women's champion in a classic match. Drew Gulak talking about why it's good to be a bearded man. I don't know. Rhea Ripley versus Billie Kay. Can Rhea Ripley continue the dominance? And she does. We give Cedric Alexander a promo advertising that he's small. Cena versus a rated R superstar. And he wins 2-0 in a disappointing match.
Think it's funny.
Right.
It's not fucking funny.
Sucks Randy was out, but we move on to Gonzalez versus Tony Storm. Ignore Triple H. Tony Storm wins. And we suffered because we ignored the boss. Fashion Police versus Jinder and Braun. Tables match for the tag titles. The Fashion Police retain in the main event. We move on to John Morrison versus Titus Worldwide. Morrison wins on pay-per-view against Titus. Becky showing why she's a man of the people. We move on to Eric versus Roderick. A Viking off on pay-per-view and Roderick wins. And then we move on to Natalya calling out Becky, saying, I beat you once, I could do it again. Rematch from last week, Mandy versus Asuka. And Mandy gets vengeance for her loss last week. No more promos. We have Nia Jax versus Shotzi. And Nia Jax breaks her tattoos off. Don't question it, that's how that works. Tag team title match, Hell in a Cell. Rematch once again, and Brock and Robert can't lose. But we unfortunately lose. Now we have Triple H telling us how to do our job. Tyler says, trust me, I want Jinder. We say, you got it. And we have a Viking that wants to jump ship, and we say, R.